So let's talk about Candace Owens. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a little video discussing the whole Candace Owens situation. I have been thinking about doing this video for a long while, but to be honest, I kind of been putting it off. I was really worried about not saying the right thing, accidentally messing it up, and then I also kind of, part of me felt a little bit bad because I don't want to be creating a video and kind of disparaging another black girl. Like, that just feels, for some reason, I have like some sort of guilt about that, even though she's completely in the wrong and she is doing all that she can to bring down our community. I guess just because I'm an empath, I just feel bad disparaging another black girl. And so that kind of held me back a little bit as well. I was actually speaking with a coworker a few weeks ago, and it really took me by surprise because she showed some sort of compassion for Candace, and it caught me off guard, and it really made me think of my own dislike for her and kind of reflect on that. And obviously she's not supporting Candace or anything like that, but the way that she spoke about the situation, she spoke about it with such compassion and not hatred. And that really made me sit and think, wow, how do I want to do this video? How do I want to go about this? And when I saw Candace's video on George Floyd, immediately I just had so much animosity and negative energy towards her, and I was really upset that she would even just put such a harmful video out there, and it just really freaking sucked, and I was really like just feeling super negative about it. But when I was reflecting, I realized I don't want my dislike of Candace to drive this video. I don't want this to be a hate video. I don't want this to be a video tearing her down. I simply want to bring to people's attention the damage that she's doing to the black community and why it is that her and people like her are dangerous. So if you don't know, Candace Owens is a Republican personality who openly speaks out against the black community. She believes that our problem is us and that racially motivated police brutality is a myth. And fun fact, she also believes that coronavirus is a scam. So there's that. But here's why she's dangerous. So one reason is that by making these videos and speaking out against black people, Candace is giving certain white people who kind of are looking for ammunition, this ammunition that they think that they need to kind of prove their point against black people, or why the black community is bad, or why we do it to ourselves, or whatever these stupid ideas they believe. It gives them that ammunition. They see a black girl speaking on it and they're like, oh, and it validates their ideas that they already had. And they're like, oh, look, a black girl's saying it. Listen to her. She knows, she's black, duh, come on. And that's exactly what they need to prove what they think is their point. And you might be surprised by the amount of people that are actually looking for that ammunition. They just need one video from a black girl to just support their false narrative, and she's giving it to them. And going along with that, another reason that she's dangerous is because she's spreading anti-black rhetoric. So let's listen to some of the points that she tried to make. She says racially motivated police brutality is a myth, which is false. She says black people play the victim and the biggest problem is us, which is false. And she says that black on black crime is the biggest issue that our community is facing, which is also false because black on black crime technically doesn't exist, which we can get into at a later point. So she's talking about how black people do more crimes and we're the victim and we do it to each other, we do it to ourselves, how can we not expect people to do it to us, all this different stuff. And what she fails to mention is the huge role that systemic racism plays in why black people are in these positions in the first place. She doesn't mention socioeconomic status, and she doesn't mention proximity, which are two of the main reasons for black on black crime in the first place. And what I mean by proximity is that if you're black in a primarily black neighborhood surrounded by black people, of course you are more likely to get killed by somebody that is also black, because the other people in proximity to you are also black. So regardless, anyone that's going to be committing a crime against you is going to more likely be of the same race as you. That goes for white people as well. The important thing to remember is that black people are not killing or committing crimes against other black people because they are black. It is mainly because of their proximity to those people. Here are some of the problems in regards to what she said about George Floyd. In her video, she's breaking down his criminal history. Like it even matters at all whether or not he has a criminal history or a criminal background, because all we're saying is that he didn't deserve to die. So his record actually has absolutely nothing to do with it. All we're saying is that he didn't deserve to die. And she's just trying to use it as some sort of tactic to make us think that his criminal history is relevant in this conversation. She keeps saying that we're pretending he's a martyr or a hero, and just in general that black Black community upholds these people that are like murdered by the police as heroes and as martyrs, and that's simply not true. We are marching and fighting for Black lives because these people who were wrongfully murdered by the police, their lives were taken from them and they didn't deserve to die. That was not just what happened to them. It was completely unjust, and that is why we fight, and that is why we march. We never said that we uphold these people to be upstanding citizens or heroes or whatever it is that she's trying to make it out to be. We literally are just saying they don't deserve to die and they deserve justice. And if you truly believe that they did not deserve to die, then you don't have to go digging into their criminal history as a pathetic attempt to invalidate them, because the conversation would already stop at they didn't deserve to die. That is the main point here. And anyone who's getting confused or getting mixed messages, that is the point. We are just saying that these human beings mattered and they didn't deserve to die. And the fact that their life is not taken seriously because they are Black is completely screwed up, and we have a system that needs to be changed. That's what we're saying. So trying to flip the script and make it seem like we're just upholding random people as martyrs or as heroes just because, oh, we're like, I guess maybe she thinks we're stupid, I don't know. But that's not what's happening here. And it's important that people understand that. And it's important to note that the police have a job and they have a duty to protect and serve their citizens. And George Floyd was simply a citizen, a human being. So what does his criminal record matter when he was wrongfully murdered? It has nothing to do, one has nothing to do with the other. She's singling out this one man to use his situation as an example and to distract from the real issue at hand, which is a much larger issue, as we know. It has less to do with a single human and their actions and more to do with a systemic problem in America that's literally built into the infrastructure of our country. And that's exactly how she flips the narrative. Another problem with what she's saying about George Floyd is the idea of respectability politics. So if you're not familiar, respectability politics is defined as the set of beliefs holding that conformity to socially acceptable or mainstream standards of appearance and behavior will protect a member of a marginalized or minority group from prejudice and systemic injustices. And respectability politics have been used time and time again to vilify Black people. A Black person shouldn't have to be the most upstanding citizen for them to not be murdered by the police and for their life to matter. Whether you're the most loud, intense Black person or the most meek, mild-mannered Black person, it shouldn't have to matter. It shouldn't affect whether or not you're respected and whether or not your life matters. So let's get back into her anti-Black rhetoric. So as much as it pains me to say, I do have a slight bit of empathy because unfortunately I myself used to adhere to a lot of anti-Black ideologies when I was younger. I didn't really want to be associated with my culture, or I didn't really want to be associated with anything Black because I knew that we were generally viewed as inferior, oftentimes as ghetto, oftentimes as unintelligent, and I just didn't want to have any part of that. All I knew is that's how we were viewed, and I didn't want to be a part of that. And I didn't have the understanding at the time that it's just anti-Black rhetoric that I had just been fed through media and society. Plus, I grew up in predominantly white spaces, so a lot of this was coming from my surroundings, and I didn't have the wherewithal to understand it or reject it in a sense. I kind of wanted to be more like them because that's what I saw and that's what they told me was good. And although I don't really think I ever genuinely believed this rhetoric, I knew that's what I saw, and it really felt like the only way to win was to be more like them. Which, like, it's crazy to think about it now, and I feel like that's just so completely screwed, but that was the reality of the world that's the reality of the world that we even live in to this day. So when I reflect on my mindset as a young woman, I do feel an overwhelming amount of sadness because it's so deeply traumatizing to grow up in a world in which you're taught not only to hate the color of your skin, but also to hate the people that also look like you in your community. I say all that to say that some part of me can understand how what happened to Candace can happen to a Black person. It is very easy for us as Black people in this world and this society to self-hate and to fall prey to this anti-Black rhetoric just because you so desperately want to be accepted by the white masses. So to sum it all up, I just think it's very harmful what she's doing. She's really taking away from the community and from the movement. We're in the fight for our lives, and we always have been, but right now it's obviously amplified times like a million. And if you're given a platform and you're given a voice to speak on behalf of your community, I feel it is your duty to tell the truth. And she's not. And she's taking advantage of her platform in order to prioritize tap dancing for the white man. And I find it quite sad and disheartening. We are trying to make changes for our community, and we are trying to fight for equality for Black people. And that is the goal here. And we should never lose sight of that, which clearly Candace has done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's just continue to fight the good fight. Sending you all the love and light this world has to offer.